Owner financing. We all hear about it. We see it online, but what's the benefits of actually doing it? So, with owner financing, what exactly is it? All it is where the seller is making a loan to you. They're financing you the property. They are making a loan to you, okay? And being that we're dealing with houses, they're making a big loan to you. This house we're standing in, right? It was $45,000. I paid a little more when I got it. I knew the owner and he financed it for me. And so therefore, he said, listen, give me $45,000. He said, put $5,000 down and your payment, my payment was maybe like 400 and some change a month. That way, I said, okay, great. Now, when I bought the property for $45,000, right? It was worth $45,000. I didn't get a discount, but I was willing to pay more because I was getting good terms and I knew I was putting it in a rental property. So let's break this deal down. The house was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house at the time. I knew I can get $750. I was making my payment to him, 400 and some change, because he escrowed my taxes and insurance. Generally, the owner won't do that, but this case, he did do that for me. And what I mean by escrow, taxes and insurance, meaning he collects the money for my tax and insurance and he would pay that. This guy was a little bit more sophisticated than your average seller. So I'm renting it out for $750. I had to fix it up and rent it out for $750 and $450. Now, mind you, I paid $45,000 for it, but I was not concerned with price because the terms benefited me. It had the cash flow there. And I knew where the property was located at, that this was gonna eventually change. When I mean change in appearance, the neighborhood and values were gonna go up. It happened a little bit faster than what I thought, but eventually it happened, but this video is not about that. The benefits of that transaction, it's not on my credit, okay? So it's not on my credit. I can operate freely. If that person were to foreclose, they'll take the property. I'll walk away and they get the property back in the event that I defaulted. With a bank loan, if they foreclose on you, it's on your credit report. So other lenders can see that and say, yo, stay away from this person. Okay, so that's one of the benefits, is not on your credit. The second benefit would be little to no money down, all right? Because if I go to a lender might say, well, I need 10%. Traditional lenders are going to say, hey, I need 20% down because this is a investment property, so you gotta put 20, we'll fund the rest, okay? So when you're doing owner financing, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about credit reports, okay? You just come up with the terms with the seller. Another benefit of owner financing, you can pay more for the property. Let me explain that to you, what I mean by you can pay more for the property. If you're trying to wholesale a house, you have to get that property on discount where you can make some money, or the flipper or the landlord can make some money. When you're owner financing, let's say a property is worth $150,000 and you say, Mr. Seller, I'm going to give you $140,000. However, are you open to taking your equity in monthly installments? He said, what do you mean by taking my equity in monthly installments? Are you open for me paying you monthly until the debt is paid off on the property? So, property's worth $150,000, which we're offering $140,000. Now we have to come up with the terms. See, we have to come up with the terms and make sure it's beneficial for us. So, ideally, I might say, what if I paid you $500 a month on this property, right? $500 a month. Ideally, you want it for 30 years, but let's say he says, well, I want a balloon payment in 5 years. A balloon payment means everything is due, okay? $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. However, you know the property rents for $1,500 a month. Remember, the property's worth $150,000. It rents for 1% of that, right? In this particular neighborhood, $1,500. So you got $500. Let's take an extra $200 to pay in taxes and insurance. So your payment is $700. Remember what I said you're making $1,500, right? $1,500 a year is $18,000. What if you applied $18,000 to the principal over the course of 5 years? You will now owe what's left. So at that point, you can sell the property or you can refinance the property. Or you can collect the cash flow, and in 5 years, You refinance the property because now it looks good. It's a performing property. We negotiated no interest. I didn't bring up interest. $500 a month, right? By not applying the extra money to the debt off of 5 years, we knocked off 30,000. So we financed 140. So now we owe 110. The property's worth 150. We can take that to any lender and get that refinanced. Traditionally, that property that we bought that was worth 150 5 years ago, nationally, it probably went up 3% a year. If you're in a major city, that property went from 150 to $200,000. You know what I mean? So that it's gonna get easier to refinance when you're paying down the debt. Okay? You didn't use your credit getting in the deal. We didn't put a down payment down. It's not on that credit report. So in the course of that 5 years, if your business credit or if your credit is jacked up, you can start fixing your stuff. But you have to be disciplined enough to do this. And I do think that this is more of a strategy you have to be prepared for. Yes, I'm breaking it down. It may sound easy, but believe me, people do end up in court. They can end up in jail by just taking properties and not paying for them. Sometimes the person who does that, their intent is good. Like, no, I don't want to sell it. I'm going to hold these. I don't want to sell it. But they don't have the money in their bank account to pay for none of the properties, and they don't pay, and the sellers take them to court, etc. And it can be looked at as fraud depending on the situation. With that being said, if you can't afford to own or finance a property, don't own or finance it. But those are the benefits, right? Benefit number one was no credit is not on your credit report, right? Benefit number two was getting into the property with little to no money. Benefit number three was we can pay a little bit more for the property because we're not focused on price, we're focused on terms. This ideally will be for your landlords if you're keeping the property. I personally don't teach everybody just wholesale. No, you need to own property as well. That's one of the best benefits of real estate. I hope this video was helpful. Have you used the owner financing strategy? Or do you plan to use the owner financing strategy? Comment below, man. I'm Nasser, AKA the Real Estate Doru. I'm not a guru, I'm a Doru because I actually do this business. And make sure you click on that vid next to me. Peace.